What exactly was Jungkook hiding until he chose to reveal it right on the first day of the new year? Why does that simple sentence actually sound so heavy, as if it carries a feeling that has been stored for a long time without ever finding the right time to get out? The beginning of a year that should have been filled with laughter and hope suddenly turned into a moment of silence full of meaning. In the midst of the warm atmosphere of the new year, Jungkook suddenly said something that left many people speechless. There was no big announcement, no excessive spotlight, just a confession that sounded honest and almost quivering. "I never said it." The sentence slid slowly, but the impact felt much deeper than imagined. Many initially thought it was just a New Year's reflection greeting. But the more it is heard, the more it is felt that the words are not mere platitudes. There was a brief pause before Jungkook continued, as if he himself was gathering courage. His gaze changed, his tone was lower, and the emotions he usually hid slowly came to the surface. It all felt too real to ignore. Hint by hint began to realize fans. The way Jungkook said Taehyung's name, his unusual facial expression, to a slight smile that seemed to try to cover up his nervousness. It was as if there was a long story behind that short sentence, a story of togetherness, a small misunderstanding that was never discussed, and a feeling that was always there but never really spoken. What makes this moment even more emotional is Taehyung's reaction. He did not respond immediately with words. There was a momentary silence, then an expression that was difficult to explain. A mixture of shock, moved, and understanding. Not a dramatic reaction. It was precisely that simplicity that made many soldiers feel their chests were cramped. It was as if they were witnessing a conversation that was supposed to be very personal. Without realizing it, the confession became an emotional shock at the beginning of the year. Jungkook wasn't looking for attention. He just ended up choosing to be honest. And that honesty feels even stronger because it comes at the right moment, when everyone is closing old sheets and opening new pages. Perhaps that is why the phrase "I never said it" sounds so touching. Because sometimes the most difficult thing is not to feel something, but to find the courage to express it. And on this first day of the new year, Jungkook finally did it, leaving Taehyung and millions of ARMY speechless in the same feelings. The silence after that moment speaks more than words. No forced laughter, no jokes to break the ice. Jungkook looked down for a moment, like someone who had just removed an old burden from his chest. Many noticed that his breath was a little stifled, as if he himself did not expect to finally dare to get to that point. Taehyung then gave a simple but meaningful response. Not a long answer, but rather an attitude that shows that he hears, understands, and accepts. The gentle look and small smile were another clue that what Jungkook revealed was not trivial. There is such a deep emotional connection built from time, trust, and togetherness that is not always seen on the screen. The ARMY began to connect small pieces of the past. Moments in which Jungkook seems hesitant to speak, his protective attitude that is often considered a joke, to a silent gesture that now feels to have a new meaning. All of them seem to find the answer on the first day of this new year. Not a few admit to being moved to tears. Not because of the big drama, but because of the honesty that is rarely shown. Jungkook shows his fragile side, and that's precisely where his strength is felt. He does not hide his emotions, nor does he wrap them in beautiful words. It just says what it is. This moment also leaves a deep impression, as if it were a symbol of the beginning of a different year. A reminder that not all new beginnings have to start with a big promise. Sometimes, one honest confession is enough to change the atmosphere, strengthen relationships, and make those who witness it feel warm in their hearts. Since then, the moment has been constantly talked about, not because of the sensation, but because the honesty feels so human. Many realized that Jungkook wasn't making the big confession he designed, but rather an outpouring of feelings that eventually found a loophole. There was a faint emotional exhaustion, as if he had thought about those words for a long time before finally daring to say them. Some ARMY even captured small details that further strengthened the atmosphere. The way Jungkook took a breath before speaking, the pause a little longer than usual, and the tone of voice he didn't make up. All of this is a hint that the moment is not just part of the usual interaction. Something was released, something that had probably only been spinning in his own mind. What makes it even more touching is the fact that Taehyung isn't trying to take over the moment. He made room, letting Jungkook sort out his feelings. His silence felt like a form of respect, as if to say without a voice that he understood how difficult it was to say it. In that silence, it creates a closeness that is difficult to explain in words. The beginning of a new year has a different meaning. Not about resolutions or grandiose hopes, but rather about the courage to be true to one's own feelings. Jungkook points out that even someone who looks strong and cheerful keeps things that are not easy to express. And when it is finally spoken, the impact can be so great. Now, many are looking forward not to further recognition, but to the next small moments. Will there be a change of attitude, a more open gesture, or precisely another silence that holds meaning? One thing is for sure, this first day of the new year has left an emotional imprint that is difficult to forget. Maybe that's the beauty of the moment. There is no definite answer, no full explanation. Just a simple confession opens up space for feelings, makes all who witness it fall silent, and realizes that sometimes the deepest honesty comes without a plan, just when the heart can no longer hold it.